Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice, brought to you by Photography as an Art. Harvey Brandman, master photographer, located at 1307 North San Fernando Boulevard, Burbank, California. Attorney Ron Irwin's book, Haiku, Style, Passion, Heart. Author Larry Buford's book to the future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule. State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Bernstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. Roll it, Tony.
I'm leaving.
If you don't talk to me, I'll assume that you're trying to sell out your employer. That's news now that Oscar's been arrested for murder.
Oscar's my business partner. I've got no beef with him. I don't need to prove that to you.
True, but you sent me those photos for a reason, and I've got a theory. With Oscar in jail, you're the acting interim CEO of Paraspot. If the board sees Oscar as a liability, maybe you'll get the job permanently.
I don't want his job.
My first guest today is an actor, director, and producer known for TV shows Notorious, 12 Monkeys, and West Wing. So far, he's got nearly 60 actor credits. Not bad. He's won many awards, including the Princess Grace Foundation Award for Acting and the renowned Obie Award for his performance in the off-Broadway play, Romance of Magno Rubio. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ramon De Ocampo. My friend, good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you.
Oh, man. Who's Tony?
Oh, that's not. Oh, it says Tony on the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Ron.
He's
Sorry, he highlighted it, and I was like, oh, look at that. It says Tony on this.
Yeah. He probably did that. He did that. Of course, welcome to the Actor's Choice. Sir, as I read your bio, I see you were raised just outside of Washington, D.C. and in Virginia.
Right.
Two great areas. I spent a lot of time in both of them. In fact, I went to Northern Virginia Community College, courtesy of the United States Navy. Yep.
Nova. You went to Nova,
yeah.
down the street from me, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you miss the Maryland crab, sir?
I certainly do. I miss heading on Baltimore and getting some Maryland crab. That's true. It's so beautiful in that part of the country, and driving down 95 from Maryland. Yeah, absolutely.
Ramon, you graduated summa cum laude in acting from the prestigious Carnegie Mellon University School of Drama in Pittsburgh.
Well, you said it right.
Cool. Wow. Had degree in hand, didn't you?
Yes.
And so now you got this degree in hand. Now you could, then you journeyed to, I understand, New York City. We called the city so nice, they named it twice. The city so pretty, they called it New York City, okay? To begin your acting career. Ramon, you've had the knowledge. Now you got to go there and get the experience. How did you like working in the many acclaimed New York and regional theaters?
I think it's amazing. I feel like when I came out of school, the question really is whether or not you're going to end up on the East Coast or the West Coast. And my thought was, eventually things would probably take me to the West Coast, but while you're young and energetic and you feel like walking the streets, New York is the place to be. Plus, I feel like it's the place where an actor can really hone a craft, because on the stage, when those lights come on, it's just you and an audience. Like, there's no second take. There's no other way to do it. What's happening tonight is happening tonight. And those people who you end up in the trenches with, that becomes your sort of army that you keep with you throughout your artistic career. And even today, like I connect to my friends in the theater in New York here and in LA as well, but definitely in New York, like I connect to those people who I did that stuff with. And I feel like I got very lucky to be allowed to take my journey to New York first. And while I was there, I started to make connections into the film and television world and into audio. But I feel like it was the right decision for me in my career, for sure.
Definitely cut your teeth on New York City. My home, by the way, I should have mentioned, I was born and raised in New York City.
Oh, whereabouts?
of Uptown Harlem.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I
Across
was on
110th Street, as they say.
86th Street. Yeah, 110th is not so far. I have to walk up there all the time.
Indeed, indeed. You know, Ramon, you make it very. There's a thing. I have a bone that I pick
Yes.
with actors and actresses, and I'll tell you what that is. They come here to Hollywood. You know, I want to be a star. Okay, you want to be a star. That's fine, no problem. But they only want to have TV and film. They don't want to touch the stage. Don't want to touch the stage. Your thoughts, sir?
I don't know if that's true for my community, my particular community. And you know, when I think the reason I was able to come to Los Angeles and feel okay about it was I quickly connected to the Antaeus Theater Company, which is a classical theater company out here in LA, which is made up of a lot of Angelino actors, but is really made up of kind of a bunch of ex-New Yorkers who had to come out to California because for them and for me, there was a savings account that can happen, a living to be made, you know, not necessarily to have to become a star, but to maybe be able to take your life into a different direction. And I don't think I would have been safe in my soul, in my spirit, you know, leaving New York for a place that didn't have collaborators and artists and stage people who thought critically about theater and thought critically about acting and thought critically about art. And if I hadn't found Antaeus, I don't know if I would have been able to survive out here. Because although it's true you can earn money, I guess in the end it's just money, you know. And the stuff that you remember are those moments of passion and valor when you're out there and you're alive on that stage. Not that we don't take that into film and television as well, of course we do. But I know that had I not found them, which is sort of like me getting an umbilical cord to New York, almost literally, like some of them will go back and forth in New York, and I went back and forth to do plays. I don't think I would have survived here.
Wow. Well, let me say this before we run out of town. Folks don't even know this gentleman. You do other things. One of the things that you did on your bio caught my eye. You teach Shakespeare at a juvenile detention center. Wow.
I do. That's actually part of the Antaeus Theater Company as well. I feel, and the company feels that it's our duty to give back to the community, especially since I think it's one of the reasons why somebody like me, who grew up in Northern Virginia, just outside DC, you know, I could have been caught up in some difficult times. Like where I grew up was not really the most safest place in the country. And definitely there are places where you can make one choice or another, you know? And I feel like one of the things that kept me on the straight and narrow is sort of a passion for the craft. Even if that passion is understanding language. And what we realized, especially in the juvenile detention center, is that young boys, they really connect to language. They really connect to Shakespeare. You know, when we start connecting hip hop and rap to Shakespeare, it quickly makes them realize that King Lear's still happening, that Hamlet's how they still feel, that they can go from the ruffian Prince Hal to King Henry V, you know, and they can put that idea, this sort of forever story, into theirs, and it connects directly to them. They you know, it's quite moving how when you watch them make that spiritual connection to the bard, really, but to ancient storytelling. It's pretty amazing.
Thank you for what you do. These guys need it. This is a good opportunity for them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You were also the winner of the prestigious, I like to use that word, prestigious, because we said that the colleges came out, Obie Award, which honors the highest caliber of off-Broadway or off-Broadway theater to recognize brave work, champion new material, and advance careers in the theater. How'd you feel the day you got that award?
Oh, it was crazy. Jeffrey Wright and John Ortiz presented it to us. Like it was amazing. You know, the Obie Awards, part of what's incredible is you get to go to this big party, and nobody had told me because I was young at the time, but nobody told me if you were at the party you were probably receiving an award. So I spent a lot of time at the party being nervous about the evening while everybody was having a very good time. And when they called up my name as well as the other members of the cast, I think we exploded. We had no idea that that was coming. Maybe we should have known, but we didn't know. So it was a really amazing experience for me, but also for that theater company, the Mailly Theater Company in New York. It really lent a legitimacy to these things that we were exploring, you know, and the fact that we created a brand new piece of theater, something that had never been seen before, and put it out into the world, and that a community, the Obie Award community, came to see it. It really lends credence to the work that you do.
Tony's next. Tony is next. You're gonna get that, Tony, definitely. Ramon, you're also known for your television work. The year was 1999. You got your first role in the movie called Personals with the role of a busboy. You also got your first IMDb film and TV actor credit as well. Remember that? Recall that first day you did that first role?
I do. In fact, it was Jim Gaffigan was in that movie. Like Yobo was in that movie. Yeah, Jim Gaffigan was in that movie, and I actually remember him. He was a pretty new comic at the time, and I remember him being like, "Oh, I've got this great bit about Hot Pockets." And let me tell you. And then he went on to tell me this whole piece that he does, and he's famous for it now. You know, it's pretty incredible. We're literally like busboy number one and waiter one in that movie.
Okay. I noted also that in 34 of the 56 roles that you've had, you seem to like TV series. You got a lot of TV series you've done.
I've done a bunch of recurring roles. You know, I think I'm lucky enough that people trust me with their stories. So they take me seriously, and then, you know, let me run with the ball for a little bit. So that's good. Okay.
Fast forward to 2005 to 2006. There you are playing Otto in the hit TV series West Wing.
You know, Rod, are you playing it, or are you?
Well, we just showing a picture of it.
You know, it's so interesting because that was my very favorite TV show. At the time, it was a super important series, and to bring it back to New York, I actually had been doing Taming of the Shrew in Central Park for Shakespeare in the Park with Allison Janney playing Kate. It was one of my first like big New York jobs, and we were having such a good time. And towards the end of the run, she had told me that her next project is this little TV show. It was written by a playwright, and it's a bunch of theater nerds, and it's about like the side of the White House that talks. And she's like, she said, I love it. I love the script. I have no idea if it's going to go anywhere because, you know, at the time, everything was very action based and very energetic. She was like, it's about a lot of talking people in the White House. I don't know. And it was years later, I guess like 4 or 5 years later, that I got the call that I was in the show. And when I showed up on set, Allison ran up to me and grabbed my script and said, "Whose team are you on? Whose team are you on?" Because, of course, at the time we were setting up the Democrats versus Republican fight during those seasons. So she was so excited, and it was so nice to reconnect to theater people. And again, that whole cast is a mountain of theater people who love collaborating, even right there on the set.
Got you. You did 10 episodes.
Yeah. My favorite show.
The year is 2015. You are now Commander Josh Newman of the TV series NCIS New Orleans.
Yes. Oh, that's a really fascinating story because what happened there was I was called at the last second to replace an actor that something happened to.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the director said that, it was like a Thursday night. I got a call from a friend of mine who said, "I'm on the set right now. And I know this is gonna sound weird, but the director's watching a tape of yours. Um, and we're already shooting this episode." And I was like, "Oh, I have no idea what that means." Well, I get a call that something happened to one of the other actors who was the lead of the episode, and they were like, "Can you get on a plane? Can you be ready in a day and have all of this set up? And we're doing all your stunt work on Monday."
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Life of an actor. Huh.
It was crazy. And then I got there, and they didn't know, they obviously that group hadn't met me and they hadn't prepared anything. This is so interesting. They hadn't prepared anything, and I was doing all of this stunt work the next day, and so of course they would had to get me stunt double. And I'm in the middle of my makeup trailer, and the makeup artist goes, "Oh yeah, we want to introduce you to someone." And he was like, and he's right over there. And I turn around, and no kidding around, up shows one of the boys who grew up in my household. My mom used to foster kids, and this wasn't a foster, but we had like this small karate team, this family karate team, and up popped up somebody that I hadn't seen since I was a kid. This guy Alvin, and he was my double. He was like, when I got the call, I looked at it and I was like, that can't be Ramon. And he was like, and there you are. So the fact that that the world got smaller and smaller, it really tickled my family, since he pretty much grew up in my house. So
Guess what? We got some tape. Roll it, Tony.
Oh boy, they kept me late at the base. So we're late for Daddy and me again, kiddo. My schmiddo, ditto. God, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Just going to drop off the ice cream so it doesn't melt on us, okay? I'll be back. 2 shakes.
Go ahead, Pops. That uniform. When I saw that, I said, we got to put that on, because I'm retired Navy. We got to get that.
Oh, yeah.
Let
me have pop soon.
And then you did 12 Monkeys that year also, and into the next year.
Yes. What a great show. What a great reboot of a stellar movie. And if you haven't seen it yet, that show is so different from the film. And the creators of that show really took it in a whole other direction, and are so talented at telling these big epic tales while still keeping it personal. And I feel like that, that's the sort of time travel piece that really works, especially especially now, it's very resonant in a world where we live in masks during a global pandemic, and 12 Monkeys is about a world saving itself from a pandemic that just happened. It's about more than that, but that's the premise. So it's actually quite relevant to today's world.
Indeed. Guess what, Ramon?
What's that?
Roll it, Tony.
Viral strain M510 was derived from remains discovered during a private core sampling expedition in the Himalayas, mid-1980s. From the preserved tissue, we extracted a previously unknown pathogen, which we genetically modified in Markridge into this weapon, which we will be deploying in Chechnya for Operation Troy. If released in this room, this virus would kill every one of us in 2 to 3 hours.
Leland said it would be controllable.
Yes, we manipulated its DNA for covert targeted weaponization. We were...
All right. I'll send you a copy of the show today so you can see that.
I feel like I was bad news on that show. My wife had asked me like how many people I had killed, and I was like, on TV, pretty much the whole world, depending on what TV show. If you get all the way to 12 Monkeys, I've killed the world.
Right. Would you please take a moment and introduce your wife, please, sir?
My wife's name is Lauren Irwin De Ocampo. She's also an actress and a photographer.
Right on.
Yes.
Okay. This year you've done 3 TV roles: The 11th Green, MacGyver, and A Tale Told by an Idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So you're busy. between.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. That MacGyver episode actually is the same creator as 12 Monkeys.
Gotcha.
And if you watch that, you'll see that there's also time travel in that. But if you like, I show up there, it's maybe bad for the world.
Gotcha. We got a picture of you. Tony, could you put that picture up? There you are standing, where's that, Sunset and Vine in Hollywood?
That's the arc light.
Right. I found that one. Hey, you on this side of we're on this side of the rope they got out there.
That would be for the Sons of Anarchy premiere.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great show to be on as well.
Yes. We only have a short time, but we got to get this gift. Let's see. You do narrations.
Yes.
A lot of them. You've gotten awards. God gave you a gift. A current project that I understand that you're working is called Zip Code Plays.
Yes.
Please explain.
The Zip Code Plays are a series of, so this goes back to our theater company, Antius.
Okay.
And what happened was during the pandemic, we realized that we weren't allowed to see each other anymore. And theater really is at least as we had known it, an in-person event. And what we have a playwrights company, and we bring in new playwrights to workshop their shows. And what we realized was we could actually create a theater of the mind or theater of the ear as a brand new form for us. So what we did was we had our playwrights create plays for radio, for podcasting that would be performed by our actors, but recorded remotely. So we actually had to send audio equipment to each of the actors, and there were all sorts of COVID restrictions. We had to put the audio equipment packages outside of their doors. We had to wait for them, and then they had to be, you had to respray them. Then they had to bring them inside. Then they have to set them up, and each step of this had to happen remotely so that we could be able to tell these stories and then stitch them in afterwards. But it really kind of flexed the muscles of our talent in the company, from everyone from our sound designers through our actors, to be able to bring this together. And now the Zip Code Plays are up and available everywhere where you can find a podcast. It's called the Zip Code Plays, and I'm the host.
Yes. Tony, would you be so kind as to roll that, please? He's setting up a picture. I had a picture of him and the audio that goes along with it.
Oh.
Yeah, I can actually hear you talking.
Yeah, right here in my booth.
Yes. Oh, you hear it?
No. I just mean I did the whole thing right here in my booth.
Okay, he's giving me a message that's not playing. Okay, but we want to. Okay, how can people get involved and get a copy of it? This is 6 plays. How do you do it?
So you can go to any like iTunes or your podcasts, or you can go to zipcodeplays.info.
Okay.
That's our own zipcodeplays.info, and that's Antius's website. And the plays are right there. They're all finished. They're all produced. They're all Foleyed. So when you hear them, you will. It's so fascinating because you'll hear like the actors are in the same room. Like there's actually a fist fight happening. Like some people are actually kissing, and it's so interesting because it's such an old craft, radio art, brought in such a new way and into a community of people who are really ready to hear it. I love listening to audio. Obviously, I work in it. I do so much narration, but I love listening to audio. I love being in the car or in my garden or walking around and hearing people tell me stories. I almost love it more than listening to music. I love to hear stories. So I feel like this is exactly the kind of thing that people need to hear.
Got you. Ramon, unfortunately, we're out of time. Really glad to have you here. They really appreciate you being here today. I'd like to give out thanks to your publicist, Lucy Pop.
Thank you, Lucy.
Very, very much. Good lady. Okay. God bless you. And keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Ron. Have a great day.
You do the same.
Stay safe.
Okay. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. The studio of Harvey Brandman Photography as an Art is proud to offer you a $100 discount off any photo package valued at $300 or more. Now, Harvey's been in this business for nearly a quarter of a century, and he certainly knows how to take care of his customers. So please give him a call today at 818-954-9294. That's 818-954-9294. You'll be glad you did. And by the way, please tell Harvey that you heard about his offer right here on the Actor's Choice. Haiku, style, passion, heart. It's the latest release from author and attorney Ron Irwin. Now, the book was inspired by the author's first exposure to haiku well over a half century ago. This experience produced within him a deep passion to experience Asia, which he later did as a U.S. Marine. The book is available in paperback at lulu.com, and Irwin says he'll give 20% of net book sales split evenly between the veterans of foreign wars and Vietnam veterans of America. Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule. It's a book by author Larry Buford. It's a historical and faith-based account of how what we do and follow today will affect us tomorrow. The author also calls it an adventure for those who want to travel back through time. The book is now available in paperback for only $17.95 from Amazon. So please get your copy today. And now a word from State Farm agent Carla Green.
Let me ask you something. What do you see when you look at your home and your car? Do you see a bundle? A combo deal? That's how other insurance companies see them. But a State Farm agent sees so much more. Because the State Farm agent sees your home and your car as more than just four walls and four wheels. They see the things you've worked really hard for. So why not give them the protection they deserve? Let me help you with that. Give me a call. State Farm agent Carla Green, 213-239-9675. I look forward to speaking with you.
Okay, Ron.
Thanks, Carla. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. For more information, call 213-239-9675. That's 213-239-9675. Ladies and gentlemen, to our Actor's Choice Tax Squad, we're excited to announce that we're expanding into e-commerce. Next year, the Actor's Choice will launch a new product line, including t-shirts, mugs, totes, backpacks, sweatshirts, water balloons, bottles, caps, and so much more. As a side note, t-shirts will come in men and women's sizes, and not all designs are available in both. Now, some items will be special order, but you will be able to buy all of our merchandise on our website, located at www.theactorschoicela.org, and other sources that we will be announced at a later date. So please stay tuned for more exciting news. We may have a holiday surprise just for the Tax Squad. To be updated on our product launch and all the happenings within the Actor's Choice, go to our website and sign up for our monthly email. That's www.theactorschoicela.org. And thanks again for being loyal Tax Squad members. And finally, if you have a product, a service, or an upcoming event that you'd like to see advertised on this program, please call 323-533-1036, 323-533-1036. Our prices are very affordable. Thank you. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it.
You know what? I've had enough of this. I agreed to pretend this was a real show to make your boyfriend happy, but when you put my reputation on the line by inviting my colleague using my name...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Your boyfriend paid me $400 for the night. I hadn't seen your work until just now.
I don't have a boyfriend.
Trevor. Trenton.
Travis.
And there you go.
My second guest today is originally from Long Island, New York. And then he came to Los Angeles by way of Buffalo, New York, and is no stranger to the stage, both on and off, from producing, directing, and/or performing to television, film, and on a web. He's enjoyed making others laugh at his own expense. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tom Trinis.
Hello.
Tom, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
First and foremost, I want to thank you for the short notice. Publicist Lucy Pollock. Whenever I always call upon her, she's been there. And when she brought you up, I said, wow, She always does that. God bless that lady. God
Yeah,
bless
true.
her. Yes.
True.
So I looked at your website, my friend. You got one hell of a website. And, and what the slogans that you put up there just caught my attention. For example, it says, Tom to Trinis, all things to Trinis. Theater chops. I tell people what to do. Your directing record. Let's see, what else? What else? Then there are the acting chops, a collection of all your work. And then there was Chop Chops. You make food for people.
Yes, yeah, that's what I do for my day job. You know, when I'm not doing all this other stuff, that's like that's kind of what I do to like survive. You know what I mean? You know, because we know theater, and stuff like that. He only gets so much money, so I have to do something. She's got to eat. You know.
Eat. Well, I understand you do this as you're focused on organic, sustainable, delicious cuisine with an influence in food medicine. Can you talk about that?
Well, so I started doing this about like 9 years ago, actually, and another chef out here, she kind of trained me because I'm not professionally trained. I'm more self-taught, and I've just kind of continued since then. And it is I before that, when I first moved out here to Los Angeles, I was working at a talent management company, like a literary management company.
Okay.
And that job was crushing my soul, like slowly, like ruining me. And so I turned to one of my coworkers and I was like, I got to get a new job. And he had some of my food before. And he's like, you should talk to my my new boss's personal chef. And I was like, okay, sure, that'll work out. And 9 years later, and like a side business that has sustained me this entire time, here I am. So, but that's kind of, I do a lot of daily food, a lot of dietary cooking cuisine, a lot of weight loss stuff for people. There's it really runs the gamut, like post and pre-partum kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of different aspects, and I was surprised how many people actually use and need that service here in Los Angeles. Like a lot of people actually have someone like this. There's a lot of other like simple delivery services that exist that are out there right now, but this is much more personalized. So like I make everything just for one family or just for one person at a time.
Okay. How can a person get in touch with you to become a client?
Oh, they can email me, or they can go to my website. There's a contact form, and you can just fill out the contact form, and it will get to me.
Okay, sounds good. Ooh, Chop Chops. Ooh.
Chop Chops, yeah. Actually, my friend who designed that website, she came up with that, and I'm like, that is so great. I was like, Anna, you did a great job. Anna La Madrid. She's also on the administration of the I Am a Theater Company, which is what this show that I'm about to do is a part of. And that's one of her special, we're all jack of all trades as actors and writers and directors. And so, that's my other trade, cooking. Her other trade is doing incredible web design. Like, you got to get around.
Right. Well, since you brought it up, sir, you have a new one-man show coming called Making Friends through the I Am a Theater Company project.
Yes.
Tell us about it, please, sir.
So this show was developed because I felt like it was time. One-man shows can be really indulgent and they can be very, very selfish. And I've been meaning to kind of tell my own personal story for quite some time. And I just felt like it was the right moment. This show is about me trying to make friends, trying to be everyone's friend. But it also is a lot about my anger issues that I have. I have a lot of I've got a lot of bubbling anger inside of me at all times. And so this show kind of isn't like a look at both of those things, about how my anger informs my relationships and vice versa. And especially coming off of the past 4 years that we've been in and how angry many of us are at the current state of the world. I felt
Say no more. I know who you're talking about.
That's right. And that's all we'll say. But what I will say is that a lot of us are angry, and I have to recover from this anger. And we've got to examine this anger, and we have to know why and where it came from and what it means. And that to me is really important. And I think that we collectively as humans, we don't talk enough about what is anger and where it comes from. And I wanted to kind of bring a light to that.
Gotcha. It's a pleasure to know that organizations like I Am continue to function going virtual since this COVID started.
Yeah, that's right.
It's great to see that.
Yeah, they have, this whole season we're doing, because I'm also a member of the company.
Yes.
the whole season that we're doing is all solo pieces. So I'm the first of 4. There'll be another one that comes out at the end of January, another 2 that come out kind of simultaneously with each other in February, March, and then the last one will come out in April, which is great. I mean, I love that they have the resources to give us that opportunity, and God bless Stephanie Black and Katie Lowe's as the artistic directors. They are special, special people who are just like, write a show about you screaming about, how you don't like New York City for a long time. Go ahead, Tom, live your life. So thank you to them. Thank you.
We had the pleasure of having Stephanie Black on our show, and she's quite a lady, dynamic, a lot of energy, a good mindset, nice person to work with.
Very much so. And she and I met about like 10 plus years ago in an acting class at Leslie Kahn. She and I met there, and we have been very close friends ever since. And she's the one who brought me into the company originally, because I first started with I Am a Theater as a producer, and I produced like 4 different plays, original works with them. Yes. And that's how I was entered into the company, and then I've just been a part of it ever since.
Okay. I understand that the play will be filmed live in a real theater?
Yes, there won't be an audience, but I will be there in an empty theater with empty seats, lights, there will be all of the bells and whistles that are usually there, but without human beings.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's recorded, and then it will be edited, and then it will be put up. You won't see this. It's not one of those that is, you're seeing it live when you pay for the ticket at that time.
How do you get the ticket?
You go to iamatheater.com, and there will be, you basically are going to purchase a ticket there's 4 weeks that the show will be up and available online, and you pay for a week. And that week will also come with other Q&As and other like content that will go along with the show.
Tom, you've been in a lot of plays, you've been in a lot of film, you've been in a lot of television. What's your pleasure, sir?
Sorry, what was that?
What's your pleasure of those 3?
If I had my druthers, my favorite medium is the blend of almost all of those, which is the multicam sitcom. It's my favorite because it feels like live theater performed and taped on television. That is my favorite thing to do. And then my second favorite would be, musical theater. Musical theater is my favorite. And I love theater so much. I mean, I've basically dedicated my entire life to doing theater since I was 8 years old. So, I mean, I can't live without it. You know what I mean?
I'm glad to hear you say that, because the gentleman who was on before you, Ramon De Ocampo, I was saying to him that a bone that I have to pick with a lot of actors that I run into here in the city of Los Angeles. They love TV, they love film, but you can't get them up on that stage.
Unfortunately, I believe as an actor, you have to perform on stage in order for you to do the rest. If you're not doing stage acting, you're not an actor to me. Like, you have to know how to do it. You have to be, I need to see you know what to do, because it only informs your film and television work, to be quite honest with you. It only makes it better. And you can tell when an actor doesn't have any theater training whatsoever when they're on TV and film, because they don't live a life. No. It's like as their character. They're very two-dimensional. It's just like, it's this, and they move on with their day. And I don't really always trust an actor who is like, oh, I don't do any theater. I only do film and television. I'm just like, well, then so how did you learn? Well, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I think you have to be able, and to me, acting is about knowing your audience, right?
Yes.
So for me, when you're acting on a stage, your audience is there, it's big. When you're acting in television, the camera's there, that's your new audience. If the camera gets closer, your audience is now smaller. You have to know that it's like, the depth of field, if you will. Like, theater is big. Film can get tinier and tinier and tinier as the camera gets closer and closer to you. And you have to kind of adapt to that. And a good actor should be able to decipher and discern when and how big or small to be doing their performance.
Right. And there's no take 2.
And there's no take 2. Also, you have to sustain, doing a 2-hour play, best of luck to you. I know that filming for 16 hours is tiring, but of that 16 hours, how much are you actually filming on that day? Like, how many hours? I would love to see those, tallying up those numbers, besides just standing around and waiting and coverage and blah, 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 be something interesting to look at.
2005, you got your first IMDb actor credit for a comedy role called The Scoop. Brings back memories?
Oh, yeah. That was when I was in college. My God. And a bunch of people in my college were making a movie and, you know, taking matters into their own hands, which was very appreciative. And I think that that's what it was. I don't even think I've ever seen it, or I even know what the heck it turned out to be, but that was just a kind of like a student film that I did while I was in college.
Gotcha.
That's my first one. I love that you looked, Ron, because
I do my homework.
Oh, good for you, Ron. Good for you.
What's her name? Is Pollock would never allow me to talk to you about.
Oh, that's true. That's right. That's right. That's correct.
Fast forward to 2014, another comedy called The Mighty Med.
Yeah. That was like a Disney Nickelodeon like multicam sitcom that they did. Yeah, this one right there. I saw that picture.
Yes.
That was actually really fun to work on. I had a really good time with that. They were very kind and really lovely. And it, you know, that kind of medium, the reason I like that medium so much is because it does feel very joyful. There's something about like because you get to rehearse and everyone watches the rehearsal like theater, and then you get to perform it and they film it. That's why I kind of love that medium, because it does feel very much like I'm in theater rehearsal, but just like a sweetened, condensed version.
Okay. The following year, 2015, Fire Twister, an action adventure.
Yeah. The director of this film is a lovely, lovely man, John, and he cast me in my first movie called The Freeway Killer, where I got murdered by, it was actually based on a true story. I got like murdered in the back of the van, as you do when you have your first film credit here in Los Angeles. But he was such a nice man, and he's so kind. And I really, really loved working with him because he was so joyful on set, and he didn't care that I was very, very inexperienced when he did cast me the first time. They did use a real knife at one point to stab me, and it was frightening. It was all very safe, and it was like very, very controlled environment, but it was like really, it was really intense. It was really, really intense.
I forgot to ask you, where'd you go to school at for acting?
University of Buffalo, it's called. It's a state school in SUNY, in the SUNY system. And, you know, I have a lot to say about that.
We got time.
We do have time. So one of the main reasons why I went there is because college is expensive, and I didn't come from a lot of money. So I went to a state school because it was either that and leave school with not as much debt, or leave school with a lot of debt, because it was either that or Syracuse University for me. And I remember I was so angry. I wanted to go to Syracuse so bad. And my dad gave me the best advice he ever gave me. He was like, so hold on, Tom, you think you're going to graduate college with $120,000 in debt, and you think you're just going to be able to pay that $700 a month for about 25 years? And I was like, well, you don't get it. And he's like, no, I get it. You're not going to that school. And so he was like, you're going to the state school. And I kicked and I screamed. And eventually I actually was very glad that I went there, because I did leave with not as big of a bill. And I also met one of my life mentors. Her name is Maria Horn, and she is a professor there. And she is a very, very incredible teacher. And she learned under Lee Strasberg himself. And she took me all around the world. We performed in all of these international theater festivals, and she taught me a lot about creating your own work and standing up for yourself and being an artist with a voice and a vision. And I think that it was invaluable to have learned from her, because I am the artist I am today because of that woman. So you can find, you know, to any of those listeners out there who are like, do I go to college? What's happening? You can find, even in a college that isn't conventionally like everyone knows, a good theater college here in America, you still can find a lot of gems. There's still incredible professors that exist in the smaller institutions that will guide you.
School is good. I teach in a local college, and I find education, I call it education, is needed. It's necessary. Like I always say, the 3 E's: education, exposure, and experience. That's what you need to make it in this life.
I agree. And not even this business, this life. You're right. I think that's life advice. That's incredible life advice to give, because you have to be exposed to everything. You know, that's why I always say to actors when they come and ask me for advice about which class do I go to, I always say, well, this is the one that worked for me, but it doesn't work for everyone. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which class you went to, as long as you show up, do the work, and you do a great job. I don't care where you went. It doesn't matter where you went. You know, I don't know, care who you studied with or how fancy you are or how not fancy you are. Are you going to show up? Are we going to have a scene? Are we going to do a really good job with each other? We're going to have fun. Are you going to not be a diva? Great. Wonderful. Let's go. Let's go for it.
2017, you did a movie called Edgar Allan Poe's Murder in a Party.
Yeah.
Delightful, sir.
Oh my gosh. My friends, another friend who actually Stephanie and I met in that acting class, and also in that acting class with my friend Sean, who was on that poster that just went up. And he is one of the co-writers. Him and his sister wrote that. It was one of the best, one of my favorite top experiences ever. If those friends of mine who have their own kind of comedy collective, if you will, if they ever call me and say, Tom, we just want you to read this one line for this podcast reading we're doing, I always say yes to them. I will do anything they say. I love working with them. And it was really fun because I played Oscar Wilde in that. And it was very fun to kind of step into those shoes, especially as a gay man, to be Oscar Wilde, because all gay men think that they're Oscar Wilde a little bit, which is actually a quote from Drew Droege, who's directing my piece of one of his solo shows that I directed. So it was a lot of fun, and it's still up on YouTube. You can watch it. It's free. It's very exciting. It's ridiculous. And it's about a bunch of authors who come together, and there's a murder that happens at this dinner party, and it's very fun.
We got just a few more minutes, but I want to get this one in. You created, wrote, and performed in 3 chapters called, the movie was called Finding the Asshole.
Yes. So this actually is my friend Melissa Stevens, who is an incredibly talented comedian, actor, writer, director. She and I actually I was producing I Am a Theater's Species Native to California, and she was in it. And we started doing comedy bits with each other because that's what dum-dums do. And we were just laughing with each other and making up all these stupid things. And we were like, yeah, we should film this stuff. And so we decided to get together and film this. She wrote it, she directed it. It was based off of our idea. And we made 3 different versions of it. And one of them got into the Slam Dance Film Festival in 2019, which is very exciting. And they're basically social commentary about how everyone is a jerk, you know. Everyone is a jerk, and no one is left unscathed. Every character has an aspect of them that is unlikable. So that's kind of what that was about. It still continues to be fun because we're still working on a television show based off of that now.
Okay. Because I know chapter 1 was 5 minutes. Chapter 2 was 5 minutes. But chapter 3, the one that won the award in 2019, that was 11 minutes.
Yeah, that was it was basically a short film that we crowdfunded for. We had to raise money for that. And we raised about, I think, $9,000 or $10,000 for that. And we had a huge crew and like a bunch of actors. And of course, the actors had to work for free because we didn't make enough money to pay them as well, because you always have to pay the crew first, which is a shame, but also great. But, you know, everyone has their own opinion about that. So it was a really good time. And I continually work with Melissa. She's one of the associate producers on my show right now, Making Friends with Iama. And I produced her one-woman show. Like, we're just always kind of like with each other at this point.
We had a video, but we're running out of time, but I want to ask you one more time. Can you talk about your one-man play coming out again, Making Friends?
So yes, Making Friends is a gay-tastic look at anger through a quick-witted rageaholic, myself. And it kind of spans through my life from kind of the beginning to now, and my journey from growing up in a severely Catholic, you know, religious household and family that is very large. I have a very large family, to basically, you know, the person you see before you today.
Dates: Friday, December the 11th.
Yep.
Through Sunday, January 17th next year.
Yes.
How do you get tickets?
IamaTheater.com. And that I'm sure they'll be up pretty soon, because, you know, this is all like, yeah, fresh. You're the first one, Ron. You're like, you got the hot take, because you're the first one to talk to me about all of this stuff. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank Ms. Pollard for that. Definitely.
Yep.
What else is next for you?
After this, well, this is taking up all of my brain power. But after that, I continually work with one of my very good friends. His name is Justin Sayer, and he is a playwright. And I directed his camp serialized play at the Celebration Theater last fall called Ravenswood Manor. And he and I put up a new camp play every month on Zoom through the Dynasty typewriter. And so those are going to continue well into the new year. We'll have another one come out on December 13th before actually the opening weekend of this.
Gotcha.
One will come out then, and then we'll have another one probably in January and February. And he just, you know, they're ridiculous, incredible. He's an amazing playwright. He's an incredible performer. He's a novelist. He's unbelievable. If you get a chance to check out Justin, he's one of my other favorite collaborators. But that's kind of what's coming up after this. And after that, Lord knows, it's day by day, Ron, day by day.
Tom, thank you very, very much for coming in. Best wishes to you. You can come back again.
Thank you, Ron.
Tell us some more stuff. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Indeed. Thanks to our sponsors, Harvey Brandman, Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Haiku, Style, Passion, Heart, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. And much, much thanks to our guest today, actor-director Ramon De Ocampo and actor-writer Tom Trinis. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. Be well. We will see you next time.